number 3. Welcome back. I'm Jennifer Fierro, your broad podcaster here in the Highland Lakes, joined once again with Daniel Clifton. We are talking about the playoff picture. And I really wanted to spend some time on this particular segment because right now, after week 1, obviously there are 3 teams in District 13 4A Division 1 that are 1-0 and 3 teams that are not. Canyon Lake, Lampasas, and Davenport all won their games. Quickly, Davenport beat Taylor 59-42 last week. That looks like a shootout with Davenport scoring 24 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that there is the loser of the Burnet Marble Falls game, because Burnet and Marble Falls both lost last week. It's really an uphill battle. Coach Herman said that. He didn't say you're eliminated, but he said everybody's going to be walking into this game as a playoff game. I forget exactly how he worded it, but I think that they all know that their seasons are on the line now for sure. And then, of course, this is a crucial 3-game stretch for the Mustangs because they are at Barnett, they welcome Taylor next week, and then they are at Lampasas the following week. So if they want to get in the playoffs, they're going to have to start stringing together some victories.
Yeah.
By the same token, though, I will tell you that I think that Barnett would say that they too are also on a 3-game even though I would anticipate, because right now they're playing Marble Falls this week. Next week they're with you at Canyon Lake.
Canyon Lake.
And then they're at Davenport the following week, and then they close out the season at home against Taylor. And the way that things played out for them last year, the winner of the Burnett Taylor game got that 4th spot. So they had already known by then.
Yeah.
And I would say the same thing for Taylor. If Taylor wants to get on a roll, because I don't think that they lost anything losing to Davenport, because I think Davenport is the best team in the district. Really do. But I haven't seen them yet. That Canyon Lake Davenport game should be a really good one. And then they may have a crucial 3-game stretch in their world where, so Taylor is at Lampasas, or no, they host Lampasas this week, and then they are at Marble Falls the following week. So for Marble Falls, though, that 3-game stretch, we're there now. It's the one that I had circled in red all season. They have to find a way to survive this one so that they can control their own destiny, and you take them one at a time. I feel like Coach Wood has said the same thing to his team. They got to have this one. Drop the one to Lampasas. Don't know that they've got enough in the arsenal for Davenport. Don't know that they got enough against Canyon Lake, because one of the things that stood out for me with the Hawks, they're just big. They're big. They're tall. And I'm talking specifically linemen. Tall and wide.
They're
Tall,
that.
wide, and strong. And in that sense, they look like the ideal slot T offensive line.
Yeah. And going to Canyon Lake, when they came in this year, they were, because they lost a lot of their linemen, their seniors last year. And so that was a question mark was coming into the season, and they struggled early, but they have come together as a line. And I think that was one of the growing parts on that in the Marble Falls game. I think that's where the confidence bloomed, was the line realized they played very well, and they realized that they can play. And I think that they grew up really quick this year.
Well, that's bad news for the Mustangs, because I wish they would have waited another week.
Yeah.
but I hear you loud and clear on that. You and I both know, because we've covered enough football in the Highland Lakes over the years, very rarely do we see co-champs, where you have more than 2 co-champs in football. Very rarely. I'm not sure that I think after seeing Canyon Lake, I'm not sure that Canyon Lake and Davenport, with no disrespect to Lampasas, because Lampasas' speed is just unreal. They've got a sophomore running back named Jet. It's Jet Walker.
Mhm.
See if I can pull up there because they're 5-1. Let me see if I can pull up their roster because his name, yeah, Jet Walker, Jett. And let me tell you, it is fitting. It is fitting. That kid is an incredibly fast kid, and I don't really see him running track, because they're in District 24 4A
Oh yeah.
for track and field. But do you remember what Bob Shipley used to say about Jordan? Do you remember that in a 100-yard dash, Jordan would get smoked. But for whatever reason, when he had a football uniform on and that ball was in the air, he did everything he could to go chase it down and get under that ball to make a catch. And he said, I don't know what it is about the football uniform,
Mm.
but I've told Jordan repeatedly, whatever it is, when you put that uniform on, it just makes you faster. Whatever that is. And I don't know that Jet Walker is that way or not, but I do know that they use him in a lot of different ways. They put him out in the slot. They give him the ball in a running back position. They put him in, and they call it the end around for him. He's very, very talented. And because he gives them such a weapon that they isolate him in a lot of ways. He reminds me a lot of how Grant Jones is used by Burnett.
Well,
They use him in the Wildcat. They use him in the slot. At one point before he got hurt this summer, he was also a defensive back. I don't know that he's played that much defense this year. I don't know that they've used him in as a returner and special teams. I know last year he did a lot for them. But I say all that to you because I have told people that in most games Grant Jones is the best player on either sideline. And he showed that last year against the Mustangs. I'm curious to see that now because I don't see a Elijah Johnson yet in this district.
yeah.
And because Elijah was just head and shoulders. He was in a class by himself, like we talked about last week. But your thoughts on the district then going into week 2?
Wow. At Davenport, they came in, they were, I, they're I don't say they're pick of the litter, but they're pretty strong. I mean, Barrett Fallon's averaging about 150 yards a game. Emmett Grimman, the quarterback, I mean, the Tristan Hamlin, the quarterback, is pretty solid. So you have to put them near the top, and the one that the teams that are going to surprise, I think, was I don't want to write Taylor off, but Lampasas for some reason surprised me as being how good they seem to be shaking out this year. I'd like to see when we see them. I know they're out for vengeance they'll be coming for Canyon Lake because last 2 years, Canyon Lake has come from behind and beat them in the fourth quarter, and that's how they secured that. Because I think last year Lampasas, Davenport, and Canyon Lake were at the top of the heap, and when Canyon Lake went to Lampasas and won, that secured this district title for them. It was the solo district title, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is a weird district. This is gonna be a crazy district. I mean, even if you lose next week, if Burnett loses or Marble Falls loses, they play the cards right, they could get in.
Yeah, but
You know how
but
the other teams beat each other up.
but for the team that doesn't win going into week 3,
That's
there's no margin for error now.
yeah. You have to. There's no. Yeah, you're right. They have to win that third game and the fourth game and string something together.
Yeah,
You're gonna need 3 wins.
right. And then you got to hope then, if you're Burden or Marble Falls in that situation, that the teams that have beaten you, those 2 teams, don't lose to anyone else
Right.
but each other,
Yeah.
because you got to have some help at that point. And I'm not sure. I don't know that Lampasas. I don't know how great Lampasas is and if they can outscore Davenport or Canyon Lake,
Yeah.
because both of those teams, and we saw it. They're capable of scoring 50. I think Lampasas can score 50, but I'm not sure that Corey Warner. The only way that I think that Corey Warner and Lampasas that happens is if they have to rely on some of the same players to go both ways. Whereas I did not see Canyon Lake, and I don't believe Davenport does that. I think they have one-way starters on both sides of the ball.
Pretty
I think
much.
that's right.
There's a couple that'll go both ways, but pretty much they can go, so yeah, one way if they need to.
Yeah.
Davenport
So
especially.
yeah, and that would be the Achilles heel. That would be the Achilles heel that Barnet and Marble Falls just don't have the depth, and I don't know what Taylor has. I have
Yeah.
not studied the Ducks close enough, but um, so Davenport's at Canyon Lake Friday night. Marble
Okay.
Falls is at
Canyon Lake's at
Barnet.
Davenport.
Canyon Lake's at Davenport Friday night. Okay, then Marble Falls is at Barnet, and I want to say Lampasas is at Taylor. Want to say that. Believe
That's
that
right.
is
Lampasas
correct.
at Taylor.
Okay. All right. Daniel, do you have anything else before I let you get back to the
Whew.
rest of your whatever else you have going on these days?
Well, I don't know. That's good for me now. It'll be exciting to see how this district goes. This is really one of those exciting districts that you just got to hold on for the ride.
That's what I'm saying. All right. Daniel, we'll do this again next week.
All right.
Thank you for the time. For
See you
Daniel
later.
Clifton, I'm see you later. For Daniel Clifton, I'm Jennifer Fierro, your broad podcaster here in the Highland Lakes. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.